Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsyreplays. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are taking a look at the AMX 30B, the tank that is currently in store for sale, and you can purchase this French tier 10 medium tank. Now, what is the tank actually like? Now, I have always enjoyed the 30B. The 30B is a kind of mix between a Leopard 1 and an STB 1, but it's actually falling behind some of the other mediums. Doesn't have as high DPM as most of the other mediums in tier 10, and it does have a lot of weak points. That the hatch on top is just bad. I mean, I do say if you get rid of the hatch, then it will be a great tank. But if you get rid of the hatch, then I suppose it's just going to be an STB or a kind of Leopard 1. So I don't think that it should get rid of the hatch in general. Maybe make it better armor. Keep the hatch, but make it better armor. Overall, it is a good tank. It is a very good tank when played correctly. We're going to have a couple of games here with people that does perform well in this tank, or people that had performed well in this tank in these battles. It's got good accuracy. It's got good speed. It has, I mean, 7-second reload, which is higher than most mediums in the tier. You look at the Leopard, you look at the Object 140s and the T62s, etc. So it does have a higher reload than most of them. So it obviously, of course, it does have the lower DPM as well. But you know, it is an enjoyable tank. It can be an enjoyable tank to play. But you have to find the right way to play it. I mean, going hold down in the tank doesn't perform really well. So using the ridge lines, I think it does have the 10 degrees of gun depression or something like that. So you can get on the ridge lines, but of course you do need to keep backwards and forward because of that hatch. You need to keep moving your turret. Now, the hatch can be troll. I've once bounced the Death Star and a Jaeger at the same time on my hatch. So it can be done, but you can't really rely on that hatch. But overall, it is a decent tank. I do just think it's missing something. I don't know what. Maybe it is because all the other tanks around it have been buffed. I mean, you've got the 121 that's been buffed. You've got the E50M that's just a beast. You've got the T62A that's been buffed. You've got the Leopard 1 that's been buffed. Where this has just been kind of left alone and never really touched. Of course, you do have this for sale with the AMX prototype. Now, the AMX prototype is basically the tier 9 version of this tank, and it's amazing. It really is. It's one of the best tier 9s. So if the AMX prototype is one of the best tier 9s, why isn't this one of the best tier 10s? With them both for sale, I would honestly prefer the AMX prototype. The AMX prototype performs, I think it performs better in tier 10 than the AMX 30B does. I really do. It doesn't have that hatch on top. It's just an all-round fantastic tank. It has a very strong turret. It has that gun depression. It has not quite the DPM, but it's still got decent DPM, just not the best. So I wish that they could actually swap them around. They could actually put the 30B as a tier 9 and the AMX prototype as the tier 10. But overall, both tanks are really enjoyable to play. I do love this tank. I do love playing it. It took me a while to get the tank. You know, the whole meme with Pantooth not getting the 30B in the crates, and I was the same. I don't think I spent as much getting the tank than Pantooth did. But it's still a tier 10. It's still a fun tank to play, and it still can perform really well. Do I think it's worth the 15k gold? Yeah, I mean, it's a tier 10. It is a tier 10, and tier 10s are basically 15k gold when they've been around a while, and this is no exception. It's been around a while. It has been around a while, but it's a tank that doesn't come for sale that often, to be honest. It's very rare. It very rarely comes for sale. Not like the sort of the Chieftain Mark 6 or whatever other tanks come for sale in tier 10. This doesn't come that often, to be honest. And when it does come, is it the opportunity for you to buy the tank? If you do like the Leopard one and the STB one, then yeah, it is a decent tank. You are going to enjoy the tank, but you have to know how to play the tank. You have to get the tank into decent positions. You have to really sort of bear in mind that big hatch. You have to try and bait people, just like our guy is doing here. He's baiting this hurry, and it's working. It really is working. He's showing his hatch, he's backing up, he's trying to get the hurry to shoot that hatch. And when you are moving backwards and forwards, the hatch is actually very difficult to get. And it's working for our guy here. I mean, he's on 6.6k damage, hasn't blocked a lot. He's only blocked sort of 800 damage, which is, what, a couple of shots. But you can see just by this game that you can perform well in the tank. So we're just going to finish this battle up here, and both tanks are a one shot, and these are the kind of positions that you really need to be careful of, because obviously when you can't get your gun down, you have to remember that that hatch is still visible for people to shoot, even though your gun's not. So you do have to bear that in mind. 6.7k damage makes a nice bit of credits as well. 93,000 credits for a tier 10 is pretty decent. So we're going to watch this game here, and then hopefully these will decide whether you want to buy the tank. Again, 15k gold, I can't really complain about the price, because that is the same price for all tier 10s. But if you only have a certain amount of gold, if you only have, say, 15k gold in your account, and you can only purchase one tank, then I honestly would prefer I would recommend buying the AMX prototype, because that's a more fun tank to play. You can go hold down much easier in that than you can here. It still has the gun depression, and it honestly, because you play against tier 8 as well, it is an overall all-round better tank than the 30B. But we're going to watch this game here, and you can see just how well this tank can actually perform. So one tank down, the T22 is down straight away within a minute of the game. One of the best tanks in tier 10, one of the strongest, one of the most OP tanks is already gone. So that is a good start to the game. There is also the TVP there, the grill, he has to watch out for, because he's in a dangerous position. But you can see our guy now, he's just trying to relocate, trying to get these medium tanks out. Going for the DPM is good, but also going for the high alpha tanks is good as well. Now, I never sit there and think, right, in the game, we need to get rid of that player, or we need to get rid of that tank first. I literally just go for the tanks that are more dangerous at the time in the battle, with their positioning, or just tanks that you have shots on. I never single a tank out or single a person out, no matter how good of a player they are. Just like this guy's doing here, he's not singling anyone out. He's looking around, looking for the most dangerous targets, and at the minute he has noticed that the TVP has flanked around with the IS-7, so he needs to try and stop them flanking around, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's stopping the IS-7 from pushing, he's stopping the TVP from pushing, so he's not singling any tank out in particular. And you can see this kind of position, he is actually getting some A bounce there from the TVP, and because of his position, when the IS-7 pokes up, the IS-7 has better views on the tanks behind him than he does him. So he was able to not take the shots from the IS-7, and of course with the TVP he was stopping that TVP from flanking around. So he actually did a really good job in this situation. Does get shot now from the IS-7, but because of his DPM is much better, because of the IS-7, the situation he's in, the position he's in, he is now able to just get around him, circle him, and just bring him down. It is a 5 versus 5 at the minute. You can see there is a couple of one shots. The IS-7 misses his target, which means that should be the end of the road for the IS-7, and he does now take him out for his first kill, bringing him down. His damage now up to 3.9k damage. So if you play this just like a medium tank, it is a decent tank. It is a really decent tank. But if you sort of play it as, if you look at the turret armor thinking, okay, the turret armor is pretty good, I'm going to play it hold down, then it does become a lot more difficult to play because of that hatch. Just play it like a medium tank, you know, use the mobility, use the DPM, Don't worry about sort of going hold down or such like that. Obviously, if you have to, then yeah, hold down is probably the last option, because you can still bounce. But the mobility of the tank is where this tank is. The accuracy, the DPM, obviously it's not the highest DPMs, but as a medium tank, it still has better DPM than the heavies and the TDs. So use that to the advantage. And I love what he does here. He just runs away from the E100 and he goes this side. He does take a nasty hit there from the grill, so going for the grill is an absolute must, but he's actually now just hiding from the grill and getting these shots off on the pattern. For me, the pattern is the most dangerous target. It's more dangerous than the grill because of the DPM, because of the speed. So going for the pattern is probably a must here. So he is going to take a shot from the pattern, so he is now a one shot to the grill, and he could be a one shot to this pattern as well if the pattern does high roll. So he gets the shot and he actually he doesn't low roll, but he leaves him on 6 HP. 6 HP. It is now a 3 versus 3, but 2 of these tanks, I'm not sure where the other tank is at the moment. Well, it's the TD to the right, but 2 of these tanks are one shots. So there goes the grill. The Object 268 takes out the grill. The E100 still has a bit of hit points left, so he has to really take this pattern out, and he has to take him out now. Missed shot there. He does try the HE, but unfortunately misses his shot, and now he is spotted, so he has to back up. The E100 is looking at him, and you can see he's missed his shot as well. So now hopefully the Object 268 can get rid of the E100. But still going, that was a nice on the move, and that's what I mean, the accuracy on this tank on the move especially. When we tested this tank, that was one thing that we pointed out, that the accuracy on the move was absolutely brilliant. So the pattern is actually gone. I didn't see the pattern die, and he does take out the E100. Now this tank was tested a few times. The first time it was tested, it had the reload of an Object 140 and a T62, and it was absolutely insane. They then nerfed it to around about a 5.96 second reload, and that was still insane as well. So yet again, they nerfed it again to around 6.97 seconds reload, and it is balanced. It's perfectly balanced in my opinion. It is a good tank, but I just feel that the AMX prototype is a much better buy. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I hope that helped make up your mind. I'm Meadsy, and I'll catch you soon. Bye bye. With